Welcome to IELTS.net podcast. Mastering IELTS Speaking, How to Ace. Describe a time when you made a sacrifice for someone. As an experienced IELTS examiner, I've seen countless candidates tackle this topic. Let's dive into how you can excel in describing a sacrifice you've made for someone, a common theme in IELTS speaking tests. Understanding the topic. The topic, describe a time when you made a sacrifice for someone, is a frequent favorite among IELTS examiners. It tests your ability to narrate a personal experience, express emotions, and showcase your vocabulary related to altruism and decision-making. This topic has appeared in various forms in past IELTS tests and is likely to remain relevant in future examinations. Part 1. Introduction and Interview. In this section, the examiner might warm you up with some general questions about sacrifice and helping others. Here are some potential questions. Do you think it's important to make sacrifices for others? When was the last time you helped someone? How do you feel when you make a sacrifice for someone? Let's look at a sample answer for the first question. Do you think it's important to make sacrifices for others? Sample answer. Absolutely. I believe making sacrifices for others is crucial in building strong relationships and fostering a sense of community. It demonstrates selflessness and empathy, which are vital qualities in today's interconnected world. However, it's also important to strike a balance and ensure that our own well-being isn't completely compromised in the process. Part 2. Long-term cue card. Here's a potential cue card for this topic. Describe a time when you made a sacrifice for someone. You should say who you made the sacrifice for, what the sacrifice was, why you made the sacrifice, how you felt about making the sacrifice. Sample answer. I'd like to talk about a time when I made a sacrifice for my younger sister. It was during my final year of university when I was preparing for my graduation exams. My sister, who was in her last year of high school, fell seriously ill and needed someone to take care of her. The sacrifice I made was putting my studies on hold for 2 weeks to look after her. I knew how important it was for her to recover quickly, especially since she had her own exams coming up. I decided to stay home and take care of her because our parents were away on a business trip and couldn't return immediately. At first, I felt a bit anxious about falling behind in my studies. However, as I saw my sister getting better, I felt a sense of satisfaction. It was challenging to catch up later, but I managed to do well in my exams eventually. This experience taught me the importance of family and how sometimes we need to prioritize others' needs over our own. I felt that the sacrifice was worth it, and it brought us closer as siblings. Sample answer. Band-Aid 9. I'd like to recount a particularly poignant moment in my life when I made a significant sacrifice for my younger sister. It was during the culmination of my university journey as I was fervently preparing for my final exams. My sister, on the cusp of completing high school, was struck down by a severe illness that required constant care and attention. The sacrifice I made was to put my academic pursuits on hiatus for a fortnight to become her primary caregiver. I was acutely aware of the critical juncture she was at in her education, with her own exams looming on the horizon. With our parents unavoidably detained by professional commitments abroad, I felt compelled to step into the role of caretaker. Initially, I was plagued by trepidation about the potential impact on my studies. However, as I witnessed her gradual recovery, a profound sense of fulfillment washed over me. The subsequent academic catch-up was undoubtedly challenging, but I managed to rise to the occasion and perform admirably in my exams. This experience served as a poignant reminder of the paramount importance of family bonds and the necessity of occasionally subordinating our personal ambitions to the needs of our loved ones. The sacrifice, though substantial, proved to be immensely rewarding, not only in terms of my sister's recovery, but also in fortifying our sibling relationship. Follow-up questions. How did this experience change your relationship with your sister? Do you think making sacrifices for family members is always necessary? For question 1. This experience undoubtedly transformed our relationship. It fostered a deeper mutual understanding and respect between us. My sister began to see me not just as an older sibling, but as someone she could truly rely on in times of need. Conversely, I gained a newfound appreciation for her resilience and determination during her recovery. This shared experience created a unique bond that has since made our relationship more robust and multifaceted. We now share a level of emotional intimacy that wasn't present before, often confiding in each other about personal challenges and aspirations. In essence, this sacrifice served as a catalyst for a more mature, supportive, and empathetic sibling dynamic. Part 3. Two-way discussion. In this section, the examiner will ask more abstract questions related to the topic of sacrifice. Here are some potential questions and sample answers. Examiner, do you think people make fewer sacrifices for others in modern society compared to the past? Sample answer, band 7-8. That's an interesting question. I believe the nature of sacrifices has evolved rather than diminished. In the past, sacrifices might have been more tangible, like giving up material possessions or time. Today, we often see people making different kinds of sacrifices, such as compromising their privacy by sharing personal stories online to raise awareness for important causes. However, the fast-paced nature of modern life might make some people more reluctant to sacrifice their time for others. It's a complex issue that likely varies across different cultures and communities. This is a nuanced issue that requires careful consideration. While it might appear on the surface that modern society is more individualistic, I would argue that the nature of sacrifices has simply evolved. In contemporary times, we witness a plethora of sacrifices that might not have been as prevalent in the past. For instance, many individuals forego lucrative career opportunities to pursue social entrepreneurship or dedicate their lives to environmental causes. Additionally, the digital age has given rise to new forms of sacrifice, such as people risking their online reputation or even personal safety to stand up for social justice issues. However, it's also true that the frenetic pace of modern life and the emphasis on personal achievement might make some individuals more hesitant to make traditional sacrifices of time or resources. Furthermore, the erosion of close-knit community structures in some societies might reduce the perceived need for personal sacrifices. Ultimately, I believe that while the form and visibility of sacrifices may have changed, the human capacity for altruism remains strong. What we're seeing is perhaps a shift in the manifestation of this altruistic impulse rather than a decline. Key vocabulary and phrases for high scores. Altruism, noun, the belief in or practice of selfless concern for the well-being of others. Example, her act of altruism in donating her kidney to a stranger was widely praised. Selfless, adjective, concerned more with the needs and wishes of others than with one's own. Example, his selfless dedication to the charity inspired many others to volunteer. To prioritize, verb, to designate or treat something as more important than other things. Example, I had to prioritize my family's needs over my personal desires. Empathy, noun, the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. Example, her empathy for the struggling students led her to offer free tutoring sessions. To compromise, to accept standards that are lower than is desirable. Example, I had to compromise my study time to help my sister recover. Profound, adjective, very great or intense. Example, the experience had a profound impact on how I view family relationships. Examiner's advice. To excel in this topic and similar ones in the IELTS speaking test, practice narrating personal stories with a clear structure, situation, action, result. Develop a rich vocabulary related to emotions, relationships, and decision-making. Prepare to discuss abstract ideas about sacrifice and its role in society. Work on expressing your opinions clearly and supporting them with examples. Practice speaking for 2 minutes continuously for Part 2 responses. Remember, the key to a high score is not just what you say, but how you say it. Aim for fluency, a range of vocabulary, and grammatical accuracy. For more tips on acing your IELTS speaking test, check out our guide on how to describe a time when you learned a valuable lesson, or how to describe a situation when you had to make a sacrifice. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, make sure to follow our channel so you don't miss out on more valuable content coming your way. We've got a lot of exciting topics lined up, and we'd love for you to be part of the journey. Hit that follow button and stay connected with us for more insights and inspiration. See you in the next episode.